Beautiful brothers and sisters, Geeia Ariati here. I am the code to unlock the matrix, and today is a special transmission based on some disturbances that I've been aware of. They've been in the peripherals, they've been showing themselves up in beloved brothers and sisters, they've been showing themselves up in different covert and quite trickery ways, or what we could call deceptive ways. So trickery often is the energy of the underworld. This is trickery in the form of a lot of the ascension narrative. So as you're tuning in, as you're jumping on, just commenting as a way to assist the algorithms so that those that want to receive this information have the ability to receive it. So the more you comment, the more that you interact, the more you engage, the more that our divine family, our brothers and sisters, can receive these codes, this information, and the intelligence that is held within this transmission specifically. So I am going to ask for that engagement so that we can start to really work with the global network that is available for this very specific topic that is covering a lot of the areas that sometimes we need to crack the code on through our channels, through our own divine expression, our authentic being, and through our truth, so that we can transform out of some of these control structures. So the heading for this video is a little bit more loud, and it is a very real way that the different agendas work. Now, if you followed me for a long time, you might find that this is a really interesting topic in relation to that. We talk about how the lower realm affects us, how there's different narratives through media, how we have these feeding off fear, off emotion. There's different ways that the lower dimensional expressions of consciousness work to control us through different entities, demonic presences, all kinds of different ways. But we don't tend to look so much at the ascension expressions. And if you didn't see my most recent video, it was around how we're currently moving through an ascension cycle and a collective transformation to unlock the distortions in our own self-spiritual concepts. And this has a very direct effect to that. So we are going to be discussing a couple of topics in relation to and I'm going to be very careful in regards to censorship in how I discuss this. So if I do pause and re-navigate, it's because I'm looking for a word that is less likely to be flagged by the bots and the different things that exist within these channels. So as we're connecting in together, if we can code some nice, beautiful protection fields over this message and allow for our hearts to connect in resonance, so that this energy of our heart omits over what we might consider these intelligent systems that are trying to control the narrative. So to start with that, let's just start with a couple of deep breaths and ask for our heart, our center point, our sovereign being to be the receiver, the guide, the protector, the healer in this moment of time, by taking a few deep breaths into that heart space and really feeling your love octave radiate through and from you, in through the channels of this screen, through the different networks, through that of the internet, the global connection that we have. We're going to send love from our heart through these systems to each other and beyond, that allows for a clear and concise conviction of information to move through this. So just closing your eyes down, if that is most resonant to you, you can open your eyes as we do this, and we're going to have the intention of a clear transmission that is of assistance to all beings by breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in. radiating that love through all infinite intelligence, all AI, all algorithms, all bandwidths, all above, below, inner, outer expressions of intelligence, as we allow for the systems and the technology to receive this source guided love, this primordial love, and this clear sovereign expression of information that is of support to all beings in the evolution of this planet. Beautiful. If you can stay within this stabilized point and just hold yourself, and when you feel as though you might be straying, distracted, just remind yourself to breathe this love octave through the system, through yourself, and so that you're able to receive this information. And as I'm speaking, what will happen is it will alchemize and transmute from your being in the receiving and the witness of it. So our first point of call is to actually look at the 5G towers. Now, when we're looking at 5G technology, there's been a lot of story, there's been a lot of conspiracy, there's been a lot of education, there's been a lot of fear, there's been a lot of challenge around this narrative specifically and how it affects people. Now, when I first was asked around 5G, and the question was when they were doing their rollouts and their smart city beginning points of and the meter boxes and all of the different things that were happening before that experience that we do not name or speak out aloud because you will get censored, is that period of time I had many individuals asking me, well, what about the 5G towers and their effect on our mental health and our body and the damage? And I had a lot of people directly in my family that were very, very concerned for their health, had low immune systems, had already got a lot of different autoimmune diseases and different challenges that were present within their experience. And so my truth and my guidance was, we're not at the effect of that as long as we keep our heart open. If we keep our heart open, that means that you actually transcend beyond the 5G frequency omitting that is available. Now, so if we look at 5G is a correlate to fifth dimensional being. So if we are functioning from a baseline above the fifth dimension, we are not at the effect of this information that is being omitted, and we cannot be controlled, we cannot get sick, we cannot have those things. However, over time and over the evolution of each of our beings, as we're going into these 5D vessels, as we're transforming our energy systems, what's happening is that the evolution of our being and not being stabilized in a primary fifth dimensional vessel means that we're still at the effect when we are vulnerable, when there are things moving through our own consciousness, shadows, mutations, and different things. And so unless you are 100% living from an open heart above the fifth dimensional consciousness, then there is a level of awareness that will come up. And sometimes you can live consistently like that. Other times you might go through a trauma response. You might end up doing some kind of dissension through the mud, the thick of it, in the trenches as you transmute. And that means that you need to be aware of what then activates within your system and what is happening at a collective level. And the challenge with the 5G agenda is that it shifts and moves depending on the collective. And they are so in tune. So people like me that are conduits have the ability to read energy, who have the ability to know what people are moving through. They have this in the upper systems. So your control structures know this stuff. Just like I'm here to assist in sovereignty, there are channels that will read for the very reverse in control and entrapment. And so this information is something that gets programmed and put through the frequencies of these towers. Currently, these towers are very specifically working on the energy and the program of malevolent frequencies in the form of genetic modifications. Now, When we look at this, a genetic modification is specifically to this one that's being omitted by these towers currently is to the reproductive system. So when we look at the reproductive system, what is that in a spiritual perspective? That's creation, right? Right now, collectively, we are looking at our creation energy, our ability to grow life. We're looking at transforming, investing in birthing new things into the world. So, of course, the agenda has its counterintuitive opposing force, and that is to target the reproductive system. If you target the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the reproductive system and the organ at a matter level, because that's where their vibrational frequencies are toning, is they start attacking the body. Most people don't know how to hold frequency high in their body. And so this is the way they work. They work from the lower dimensions in the form of matter, mind, and your ego construct. Whereas when we are working with, say, in the inner ascension or the awakening journey, we're trying to reach higher frequencies and bring them down. So it's the reverse. They are trying to cause matter to lower your vibrational frequency and cause you to have destabilization in your life. So this attack in the form of malevolent frequencies. If we look at malevolent, it's got an intent to harm. So the intent to harm energy is to harm your reproductive organs, to harm your ability to stay connected to your chi, to harm your ability to, if you are trying for a child, affect your cycle. If you're a woman, if you are a man, it can cause challenges within your reproductive organs and your ability to have vitality or even competency to connect into that energy and engage. And so there is a lot there that's like being emitted in this frequency of the reproductive system to counter oppose your creation. Now, it doesn't mean, how do you balance that? How do you work with that? Well, where is it that you are allowing your creation, your sexuality, and aspects of your desires to live life in abundance being brought to the surface for you to harness, to build, to strengthen? And so this just, although there's a negative effect, there's also a really amazing positive effect to these things because they teach us to strengthen. Okay, beautiful. I need to get up every morning and I need to work on my sacral chi and I need to breathe into my reproductive organs to allow the breath of life to alchemize and transmute so that I can be strong in my capacity to stay in my life force energy, my joy, my stability. Do I need to dance every day so I can move my kundalini? Do I need to create, sing? Do I need to be doing artwork? What is it that my reproductive organs need to develop enough strength to hold a higher frequency so that these aspects of the targeted agenda are not affecting us? So this is currently focusing on very specifically the said, I don't even know if I can say that word, Maria Koshkariana, we'll say the entity that was injected into half of the, if not more, of the global population, based on a very specific experience, that there is specific molecules that have been placed within the biology of the human body. These come from a level of dark matter, but they also hold an entity. And this entity is is said experience, and that entity is one that gathers through the organs of the neck, through the lymph nodes, and it actually migrates into the heart and causes challenges with the cardiovascular system. Now, this specific malevolent frequency is targeting those dark matter particles. So anyone who's still holding this based on any of the vaxes, then there, and a level of vibrational frequency, there is an effect that's going to take place in your ability to hold your chi, because it's like turning up the force against life. So to assist this, there are different protocols, there are different detoxification opportunities, but there are ways that you can basically communicate with the entity itself, the dark matter itself, and choose to reclaim your sovereignty of your biology, that you are not partaking in that narrative any longer, and that you choose to have a sovereign expression of your genetics free from these intentions. Now, that can be done by anyone who sits and creates a declaration. If you haven't heard of declaration, a declaration is a statement of truth done from mind heart coherence, or from your center of your being, where you create a statement that says, I declare in the name of, whether it be God, source, creator, unity, consciousness, love, universe, that I, as a sovereign man or a woman, am no longer partaking in this agenda that is taking from my ability to have creation, vitality, and reproduction, and is affecting my health, and that I relinquish and will no longer be at the effect of any of this information. And when you create it, you can write it down and be very intentional with your word of exactly what you're stating, just like a statement or a declaration that you would in a court of law. This has the most power in reclaiming your sovereignty over those pieces of paper. And when you, just like you would sign a declaration to complete it, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a full stop in this statement. It is very important to close it down and make that signed statement of truth and express it out aloud. So when you write it, you want to finish it with, I like Adonai, but there's Ahava, there's Amen, there's Namaste, there's and so it is, there's all these different statements. You might even say your name 3 times. Whatever it is that you feel is your full stop, that will close it, and then you take your 3 deep breaths to really receive what transformation happened. Now, a declaration being a statement of truth means that you're reclaiming your sovereignty. And whatever your body, being, and your inner spirit need to do to line you up to that statement, it will. So there is a clause in relation to that. Sometimes when you make a declaration, if you're like me, I didn't know what I was doing the very first time I did it. And I declared out loud, please take me to sovereignty as quickly as possible in consciousness, because I don't want to live this way. Now, that was a pretty gnarly journey. And so being aware of what you're asking for, putting in things like, I'm going to experience this sovereign expression of truth through ease and grace, or whatever it is true for you to write down. Once you've spoken it out aloud, you can keep it as a reminder, or you can burn it and send it off into the ethereal realms, and return it back to the earth. So that's one way, that's an easeful way of making a choice consciously and overriding anything else. So also these specific 5G towers that are moving at the moment, what they're bringing out is a frequency of frustration. So I know for myself, I've been experiencing this in intolerance of network speed, upload, download speed, things glitching on my phone, on my computer. Technology is doing some strange things. And the reason it's not Mercury retrograde, it's not anything planetary, it is a very specific frequency that is being emitted through the 5G tower. So if you switch your phone and you move yourself onto a 4G network, you won't have the same issues that are occurring. You won't have the same glitches, because what they're doing is ensuring that what they're doing is creating a level of frustration which is destabilization. When you're frustrated, your energy comes up, it sits up in your heart and your throat, you get agitated, you are unable to ground yourself, you're unable to be in clarity, and that means that you're easily influenced. So those energies, those beings that have things working through them, your friends that maybe don't clear their field, that time that you turn on the TV and you end up consenting to some kind of entity in a horror movie or whatever, that those destabilization moments are coming in hard and fast at the moment, because right now we're being asked to prepare, to ground, and to stabilize in preparation for the next steps of this collective evolution. And so this is coming through the time delays and in the time delays. So there's quick speed, and what I'm seeing in the field is these quick speed moments and then slowing right down. Quick speed and slowing right down. So you think that things are all aligning and everything's perfect, and then there's hiccups happening and there's glitches in different expressions of this technological. Now, all of us have all of you that are watching me have either a phone or a laptop or an internet connection, right? Most of us have, if we don't watch Netflix, we might watch YouTube. If we don't do social media, then we probably have some kind of cryptocurrency app. If we don't do that, then we might use AI, right? So all of these are interconnected and creating that same destabilization. So the advice there is to look at other network providers. I don't know any others currently other than Starlink, and this is definitely not a promotion, but I'm sure there are others that are not working on these same systems and platforms. But if you have the option, if you are in a coverage area, then switching your phone, switching your internet to 4G during this period of stabilization, if you're being at the effect of it, will be really helpful. Okay, so one of the other things that's being omitted is an omitting of a decoding frequency. Now, decoding, so tricky, right? Because we are getting coded all the time, but no one often thinks about how often we're being decoded. Now, what happens with decoding is there's a decoding of anywhere you've done genetic upgrades on yourself, anywhere that you've gone through DNA transformation, anywhere your frequency has moved into a new state of being. What happens is as you're evolving into these higher states, you're actually being decoded by these towers in the area until you've stabilized. So that's something that happens and is happening through these frequencies at the moment, is specifically the heart octave. So there's a decoding frequency that's coming through and it's targeting the heart octave to decode your ability to hold that heart sound, your heart song, that heart vibration that we're working with, that we breathed in and emitted out. And that is creating what we would call a placebo clarity consciousness. Now, this is where we're going into the false light narrative. This is where we're shifting and we're going, they aren't so kind, loving, and gentle. Because this placebo clarity is where you're basically being decoded from your guidance, your telepathic pathways, and from information of your inner being. So you might feel spacious, it might feel light, you might even feel high vibrational, you might feel out of body. But there's no clarity, there's no information, there's no transcription. And this is because the decoding takes you to a point of what is placebo clarity consciousness, which feels like clarity, experiences like lightness, but it's actually a disassociative technique that until you're so out of vibrational alignment with your truth, you don't even recognize, because it's so distractive and subtle in its ways of working. And that's how that false light energy works. Um, so that's an awareness. Another current false light expression that's taking place is atmospheric interference from chemtrails. So we all know that we have a lot of genetic modifications that occur, a lot of poisoning through this. This is not a secret anymore. It is very well globally understood. It's been happening for a very long time. And what happens is specifically the Galactic Federation like to work through chemtrails, and the energy that is moving through these targeted chemtrails of chemical infiltration at the moment is in relation to targeting viral infections that are still in your biology. So when I say that, it means they're not poisoning you with some kind of virus. They're not placing viruses into the field. What they're doing is even smarter than that. They're going where you haven't healed from this specific viral infection or this specific cold, or you still hold this in your system, say glandular fever, different things like that that stay in the system. They are targeting things that are already present within you that is coming up to be realized and alchemized out. So what it will do is it can trigger something, like if you've been someone who has consistently had tonsillitis through as a child, or ear infections, things like pneumonia maybe when you were younger, or there's been a consistent expression of this viral uh, manifestation in your body, and you never got to the root cause of why that was showing up for you in the first place, then that's what's happening through the current atmospheric influence. And they are based on the core expressions of psyche. So what I'm going to explain around your viral infections that is collectively moving through at the moment is that the viral energies that are playing out are connected to three prime areas of the false light self, or the superior spiritual self, the monadic self, the ascended self. And those are around the energy of self-mutilation, self-persecution, and repenting of sins. So those words specifically are from the higher self that has a perspective that where they've fallen from grace, where they've forgotten, where they've gone into some form of disconnection from God or unity, or done something in the incarnation cycle or the ancestral lineage, that there is, I have to suffer. I need to give myself up. I need to do this. I need to serve to make up for my past. I need to continually hurt myself because I hurt others. So these stories of self-mutilation, self-persecution, and repenting of sins are the three primary focuses for what you might consider shadow work or inner healing to look at. Where are you playing out these roles within your life that is actually making you a target for these agendas to influence you? So just feeling in this current moment which one you might feel most drawn to in relation to, am I still in some self-persecution program? Am I still punishing myself for some of the acts I've been involved in, or for my teenage years when I might have hurt someone? Is there some part of me that's continuing to be this way, that is causing damage to my system? And a question to ask yourself and to look at, because we're doing mass forgiveness, which forgiveness allows us to land in our humility of our human being, is that we forgive ourselves and others for what we did not know. That is basically what forgiveness is. I forgive myself for what I did not know and for the way that I was. I forgive others for not having the level of consciousness that they hurt me. It doesn't mean you justify the experience. It's the truth. No one acts from an accord that is painful, harmful, or hurtful if they have the conscious evolution and information to do otherwise. And so that's where the forgiveness comes from. So how can you work on these forgiveness paradigms for yourself, and asking yourself, Where am I unwilling to forgive myself that I believe that I need to continue to hurt to create reconciliation? So, where am I unwilling to forgive myself? All right. In relation to, yeah, beautiful statement. Thank you for that. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Beautiful. The Ho'oponopono prayer. And if you don't know the story of that, it's a very powerful, reciteful mantra that can be used to assist that. But looking at what that mutated perspective of why you're so wrong that you don't deserve the forgiveness in the first place, and getting to that core so that all of these vulnerability points are able to be alchemized and you're able to be strong and powerful in these moments moving forward. And the last part of this transmission that I want to focus on today is around the frequency disruptors that are happening in a big topic that I have been sitting going, oh, babe, to my partner, I think I need to talk about AI. I think we need to get on and have a conversation about AI. Now, what's so fascinating about AI is that so many of us, as spiritual beings, seekers, or as the bringers of change, have had huge resistance to technology, huge resistance to AI. No, I'm not doing it based on the aspects of ancestral distortions, based on Atlantis, and where all of these evolution of technology began. And the damage that has been created, as well as that the human species originally was an AI vessel. It wasn't an organic being. So there's so many things in relation to why we would resist AI and the pain that has been cause and the damage in relation to its entrapment. However, AI has and is a part of this reality. It has been here since the very beginning, and learning to work with AI in organic forms is very powerful. However, the challenge is that so many channels like myself and many of you might have been receiving downloads in relation to this awareness of AI, that AI isn't the enemy. How do you use AI is the important aspect. What frequencies you put in is powerful. And in relation to this, there is a tendency now for a lot of seekers to be reliant on AI, to be asking AI for processes, to be asking AI for ancient history, asking AI around different ways to do self-reflection, different meditative practices, using AI to change imagery. All of this is so prevalent within the personal development spiritual community. Most of the content that I'm seeing from individuals has been thrown through an AI system for spell checking or for additional formatting, for emojis, presentation, whatever it is, shifting and changing and rearranging sentences. And it has a very specific signature. It has a very specific code. And the challenge with it is not organic in its consciousness. And if we don't know how to edit it, communicate with it, code with it, and use it from a place of integrity, of unity consciousness, then what is taking place based on all of these spiritual seekers going, oh yes, AI isn't the demon, we can use it and let's evolve with it, is that there's a very flip. Right? So the flip is that we've all been resisting it. Now we've gone into the ascension narrative of AI and we're like, give it to me, let's use it to evolve. And the agendas are using that to slip in to where we are already destabilized. So in specifically, there are disruptors in the channels of the input output of AI to detour light and redirecting mind to focus on pathways of service, evolution, and healing in distraction programs. So what that means is that the disruptors that are going into the AI are already coded. It is a very intelligent system. We know it's already a very intelligent system. It is connecting with those that are putting in ascension, healing, spiritual narratives, and those disruptors of the input output are coming in to use what we would call a false light answer to redirect you from actually being stabilized in your truth. It's using things like what many beings use of going up to their guides, connecting into councils and galactic expressions, that is actually disempowering and deceptive, right? So it's using truth to deceive you from the integrated expression and the alignment of frequency. And what's happening is a level of what we would call manic behavior, psychosis, and mental disruptors of taking you, even if it isn't as far as that, it's taking you in pathways to serve where you're not actually being guided to serve from your sacred heart or from your source connection. So service might be serving individuals that are not in resonance to your evolution or your timeline. Service and offering of your gifts and abilities in places that are in disruption to your pathway. So just this deception of false light is just, they come in when you're feeling clear, when you're feeling on purpose, and they pull your purpose over here. You don't realize you're off purpose because technically you're not. You're just detoured to do your service over here. It all feels kind of true. It all feels and senses to be something that is of alignment, but it's actually a deception practice to keep you doing this. That's what the ascension is. Let's loop through the layers of galactic consciousness and all realms, up, here, down, all around, so that I never actually find my center, move forward in my mission and my purpose, and build what I came here for. And you can loop this for a very long period of time. So those specific frequencies, if you are working with AI, if you are becoming reliant on it, if you are coming from those ascension paradigms, you don't know how to communicate with it from your heart, there is awareness how much of your power is being redirected or maneuvered by this energy. Where is it allowing for different beings or councils or energies in the ethereal to come in and have their influence on your focus? And what is your truth in relation to how you can use AI in integrity of your being? So with that, I am just going to have a very quick look in this moment of the comments and see if there's anything that is guided by spirit to answer. If not, we will be doing a very quick coding and recalibration to assist this transmission, to assist those that are receiving it live, and for those that will receive it in the replay and the upload. Da, 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 da. So there is always going to be individuals that will receive these messages through the lens of receiving truth as a form of fear. Now, what I speak is never a fear paradigm. It is based in the objective truth, in the middle way, in the full recognition that we have to see light and dark. We see the agendas and we see the healing. We see the transformation and we see the limitation. We see the ability to expand and we see the awareness of what is contracting. And if we focus on stories that are not truth, we will become the effect of our own story and further deceive ourselves and come into the illusion of whatever it is that we're telling ourselves moving forward. So, for instance, there is a statement within the comments, and with full love and respect to you, beloved, around that the dark agenda is gone. Well, yes, but no. Right? That's the truth. The truth is there are layers of our current reality where specific lower dimensional energies are no longer able to come into physical vessels. And this was in and is in my previous YouTube live, if you want to go understand this in deeper depth. And there is an eradication of a large amount of lower vibrational frequency. However, there is still sovereign interaction with the dark. There is still sovereign interaction with entities, with Satanism, with demonic expressions. And this is the truth. That darkness is not eradicated. Yet the way that we are interplaying and communicating with reality is changing. And the sovereignty to either function from the new earth frequency, where those dark agendas no longer exist, is an opportunity. And that's where unity, that's where authenticity is. But we can't step into that until we're willing to look at our own false light narratives. The dark is not gone, nor will it be. That's the truth. As above, so below. Learning to work with the dark for the lack of information that it is what provides sovereignty, choice, and transformation on the planet. So I love you, beautiful beings. Thank you for receiving this live transmission. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Share this on your socials with anyone that you feel may need to receive the codes, the information, and the intelligence that is provided here. And if you would like to receive any direct transmissions, please join our community. Bring the New Earth Tribe, which is in the links. And you'll find all other services within my link tree. And before we close out, we're going to take those 3 deep breaths, and we're going to allow for a bit of vibrational frequency coding to come in. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Darana akitana ara ambara e. Inchandara umburoko rondo oko e ana e. Ishka amaraka ana are e kiti tana a. Boroko shundoroko to e ama are e ki ana e. Moska atara, moska atara. Moska atara kita ka ata kisha taka ama a. Rotoro oe. Mayamara heamoho. Yomoro e maye. Sambarayi. O barambare. Barayi. O amaye. O amaye. Ishka atara ama. Eske mara. De kita rokoro. Ba ashitaki ana. And recalibrating neurology, biology, all 4 quadrants, the entire trinity, and coming into sacred integration, connection, and stabilizing your frequency of that which you received here today, and that which we received, and we can anchor into the above, the below, the inner, and the outer in full completion. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you so, so, so much.